Good evening. Welcome to Thriving at Tam. Is this too loud? Okay, good. I'm Jen Moore. I'm the PTSA president. This is our first PTSA Parent Ed event of the year, and the first one we've been able to host in person for more than 2 years. So thank you for coming out and being here tonight. Thank you to our panelists for spending some of their evening to educate all our parents about all things Tam High. We really appreciate it. The PTSA is dedicated to family engagement and community building through events like these, and we really welcome everyone's involvement and support. We want you to feel a part of the Tam community and be your connection. So if you have any questions or you need any help, let us know. We're really fortunate that we have had Principal Farr leading our Tam community for the last 6 years of his 24 years in education. He recently completed his doctorate in educational leadership from Gonzaga, which is no small feat because he did it while working full-time to support our 1,600 plus kids here at Tam High. So as a freshman parent, it's my personal goal to make sure he sticks around for many more years to come. So with that, it's my great pleasure to introduce Dr. J.C. Farr, our moderator.
Thank you, Jen. Hearing 24 years just makes me feel like I'm old, right? I started way back in, 1999. So it's actually 25 years. I probably should have updated, like this is my silver anniversary. And you can see it with all the gray hair, right? Like silver is like literal silver. But it's my pleasure to be here tonight and to introduce you to a number of different people who are going to tell you a little bit about Tam. And we're not going to be exhaustive and tell you everything that you need to know, but we wanted to give like an overview so that you feel comfortable being here. You understand who we are as people working with your students, right? So I'm not just an administrator, I'm a human being. I eat, I go to Whole Foods and all that. Kids like need to know that. Like, yeah, I don't just sleep in the office, right? I'm a real live human being with emotions. I get disappointed. I'm happy when they do well. And tonight, I hope that you all see the humanity in us, right? And the work that we're going to do together. So, first up is the Executive Director of the Tam High Foundation. We work a lot together. She'll probably tell you about her 3 kids and how long she's been here. I'm not going to tell her whole story, but it's Elaine Wilkinson.
Thank you, JC. So yeah, I'm Elaine Wilkinson, and guess how many kids I've got? 3. So I have been a parent here since 2013. So I've got 2 kids who've graduated from here, and I have a current sophomore daughter, and it's so nice to see so many friendly faces from Etna, go Mustangs, right, now here at Tam. Tam is a really special place, and it's a special place because of the students, because of the staff, because of the parents. I feel that it's been an absolute privilege to be a parent at this school for so many years, and I even have another privilege of being the director of the foundation. So if we can just switch to the next slide. Thanks, Andy. So Tam High Foundation, go back one, thank you. These are all the fundraisers that we have on campus, and this is just an overview. I know that many of you were here on Freshman Friday, and you were able to walk around the campus with some of us and see some of where our fundraising money goes. We are a public school, so we do fundraise. That's just the way it is. So we have the Tam High Foundation, and with that we also fundraise for PATH, which is fine arts. I'm sure we've got lots of fine arts students, especially for the freshmen. CT, which is the drama program, and Thumb, which is the music program. So now for the first time this year, we ask for all those donations to go through to the foundation. We take care of all of those programs. And then we have the Tam High PTSA, you just heard from Jen. And then we have Tam Boosters, and Boosters looks after all the athletics, which are after school programs. And we have around 900 students who take a roster spot across the year playing a sport at Tam. Okay. So just a little bit more about us. I'll talk about the foundation first, why not? We basically support everything that happens as part of the curriculum and all the support services. So the school district pays for staffing, it pays to switch the lights on, and it pays for the basics of the curriculums that all of the children are engaged in. We are able to offer the extras, the extra experience that your students will have at Tam High. So they're here for 4 years, and I can say that for every one of those 180 days times 4 that they walk through those arches and come to school, they are being affected by a program that we are able to fund thanks to our parent community. So things like we have the library open 5 days a week after hours. We have wellness services. We have the Chromebooks in every classroom. We have an amazing language lab. We have a fantastic new music studio. The drama program, we plow a lot of money into that. The drama program, just to give you an idea, from the school district gets $5,000 a year to run the program. It costs a little bit more than that. So we're able to support the amazing productions, the lighting, the whole experience, the calculator in the math classroom, the paintbrush in art, every single aspect of your child's curriculum, every single year they are at Tam benefits from the work that we do with the Tam Foundation. Just this space, last year we invested $100,000 redoing all this amazing student centre, new furniture, new floors. We've also invested in the screens, but you know what? You can find out more about on our website, and you can even scan the QR codes to find out more about it. We have a huge request this year, which is $850,000, which is the most money we have ever asked our community to help support us in, and that's because we're folding in all the fundraising from the fine art program, drama and music. We also have the Tam PTSA, and as Jen mentioned, they're supporting student services, parent ed, things like that are happening tonight. Do you want to talk about your own program? Yeah.
Thanks, no worries. Wasn't completely prepared for it, but I'm happy to. As I said earlier, we're really focused on family engagement and community building. So those freshman class t-shirts that came home on orientation day to promote school spirit, the root beer floats next week, we're working with ASB. That's the PTSA donation dollars at work. Staffing those events is from parent volunteers, and also we're doing a lot of teacher appreciation. So teacher appreciation luncheons, and we work together to, you guys renovated the staff room and we're stocking it with snacks. So we're a team.
Thanks, Jen. And then finally, we have Boosters. Boosters fundraise across the year. We have fall, winter, and spring sports. So if your student is playing a sport now and then doing another one in spring, they're probably going to try and hit you up twice, okay? And they're looking to, they have a suggested donation of $250. The money that they raise is equivalent to half of the athletics budget that they get from the school district. And as I said, we have over 900 roster spots across the year. So all three of those organizations really appreciate your support in any which way that you can. Okay. Oh, let's just look at some photos from our social media feed. This is a great way to stay in touch. Andy, could you just go back to the last one? We have great social media feeds. This is just some of the ways for you as parents to find out what's happening on campus. And we also are always promoting volunteer opportunities, which I know our parents love to get involved with what's going on campus as well. So this is just the new staff lounge that happened over the summer, somebody's first day of school this year, and then just some of the projects that we were able to fund last year. So follow us on social media if you're not doing already. The same with Boosters and PTSA. That's how you'll find out what's going on campus as well. So these are ways that you can be involved. As Principal Farr always says, it's a third the students, a third the staff, a third the parents. See, I've been listening, right? The school welcomes parent involvement, and there's lots of opportunities. It's not all just about money, it's about your time and your talent as well. This space was transformed thanks to a parent donating their time as an architect to give us the vision of what this space could be. So these are some of the opportunities we have outside of the fundraising. We have site council, we have parent members, and the applications are open right now. That's come out through Parent Square last week. I'm not sure when the closing deadline is, but I feel like it's going to be soon. And that's a great way to find out about the nuts and bolts of how the school runs. Then we have the English Language Advisory Committee. We're always looking for parents to be part of that. The school district has several opportunities from the racial justice program. We also have LCAP. So all those invitations come through via Parent Square, coming straight from the district. So then, again, keep looking at websites, keep looking at the district website as well as the school websites to keep up to date with what's going on. And then we always, are looking for volunteers if we have an event on campus. So if you see the call out, don't be shy, you're very, very welcome, especially in the spring when it's AP testing and we need a lot of proctors to make those tests happen. Graduation events, dances, we're looking for parents to help partner with us. So for those of you who are new, welcome to Tam High, and for those of you who are returning parents, welcome back. Thank you.
So one hard and fast rule if you're going to volunteer, just don't embarrass your kid. They'll never forgive you for it, right? They're trying to forge a new identity and reputation on campus, and the last thing that they want is for you to embarrass them. So don't come on, waving and, trying to catch up with them, because they're going to shoot you off and not want to be bothered. They want you here, but from a distance, right? So, come out and volunteer and help us out a little bit. It takes an army of people. If you were here on the freshman barbecue, you saw how many people it takes to do this work, right? So it really, really takes all of you. So tonight there's a lot of people that want to talk and give you information about Tam and who they are and the work that we do. I'm JC Farr, I'm the principal. Karen Hatton is one of our assistant principals. She couldn't make it tonight because her kid is going to San Diego State in the morning, and so she couldn't make it tonight. But I want to introduce to you one of our new assistant principals. He comes to us with a lot of experience, and here to tell you about it is Andy Lieberman.
Good evening, nice to meet all of you guys. I think JC actually hired me because I'm in his age group and it made him feel better. I'm not sure, but anyway, I am originally from Sonoma County, right up the road. I still live in Santa Rosa. I worked private sector for a long time. You name a job, I've probably done it. I've been a carpenter, I've been a cook, I've been a waiter, I've been a driver, I've been all sorts of things. And around 21 years old, I did a lot of those things before I was 21. I started working in the wine business. I worked at Corbel Champagne Cellars for about 10 years, and I ran the visitor center there, so that was kind of my first tout into management, administration, and marketing, and really liked it. But I kind of got called. I started doing some domestic violence work and just felt called to that. I was working with men who had violence issues and watching them turn around. And I went into my boss one day and I said, I'm going back to school. I'm going to get my master's degree in counseling. And that was about 25 years ago. So I did that for quite a while. I ended up working on getting both an MFCC and a PPS. Those are marriage, family, child counselor, and one for being school counselor. And I took about a 14-year detour down to Southern California in Fontana. I worked elementary school there, I worked middle school, and I worked high school, and I did counseling and administration at all 3 levels. And then couldn't stand Southern California anymore, and there was a job opening in Santa Rosa at LC Allen High School, and I took that. As a vice principal, I was there for about 9 years, and then Santa Rosa. And then I saw this opening and was just very interested in the community and a lot of the things that were going on here. So here I am. Nice to meet all of you.
I'm not going to do my Karen Hatton imitation. But she's kind of like the mama bear of our assistant principal team, and she would probably want me to read this quote, so I will do so. Do the best you can until you know better, then when you know better, do better. So that is Karen. Now joining us is Assistant Principal Tara Ramsey.
Good evening. Over there, on the far left is my dog Amy. That's all you need to know about. So anybody who knows me knows how much I love Amy, but that's not why I'm here. A little bit about my story. I've had a windy road, lots of different experiences in education. This is, oh my goodness, my 23rd year, and I've served in every role from founding teacher, teaching as young as 5th grade and teaching as old as 11th grade, to dean of students, dean of culture, dean of lower school. I was a founding principal and even a superintendent of a state charter, which is, that it means it's one site, so it's not like multiple schools. So I've worn many hats and lived in many different cities, and I've served in every community except in rural areas. I have not been, but I've worked in deep poverty and affluence, in cities in the South, the East Coast, and now I'm in the West Coast. A little bit about my core beliefs here. I took a class with Marshall Gantz as part of my leadership program. You know Marshall Gantz, he was one of the men who worked with Cesar Chavez for the United Farmers Union. And he teaches this class about organizing, grassroots organizing. And he provided one of the most powerful definitions of leadership. And he talked about leadership as organizing others to use their power to make the changes they want to see in the world. So I'm paraphrasing, and so that's what that fist is. This has a lot to do with my leadership style, is how can I organize adults and children to use their own power to make the changes they want to see in their world. And then here is another value I have, is conflict. We don't talk about conflict enough, but actually conflict is how we build, get closer. But I do it and believe in healthy conflict. So teaching students and adults how to engage in healthy conflict so that we can get to where we're trying to go. And then the last image is about decision making. How do you make decision making transparent? And how do you make it inclusive, where everybody has a voice? And then my approach, closing gaps, that formula, I believe that there's a solution to everything. And the way my brain works is I think everything has a formula or template to getting there. And my approach is organic. So I usually go into a community, I listen, I gather information, and I use observations, data, and I think about the impact and the trends, and then I design solutions. That's really like passion work for me. So, power, conflict, decision making, and my love of eating. That's it.
He did. I don't think you need an introduction because he's been here, and you know we've done some things on the baseball field with Coach Bernstein, but now he's working as a dean of student success, Nathan Bernstein.
Good evening, everybody. Like you said, I've been a teacher here for 7 years. I've also been the varsity baseball coach. That's my dog, Keela. I put that up there to trigger Principal Farr because he hates dogs. So I just wanted to look at it. I'm going to see how many times I can bring it in and not get fired. That's my goal. One thing you just got to know about me is I love Tam. If you can find me without Tam gear on, I will be very surprised. This was Twin Day a couple years ago. I love everything about Tam. My new role, the big thing that I'm working with is students and their attendance and just making sure they're getting to class and doing those early kind of interventions. I was actually just out at the field with a couple kids and we were having a conversation and I was like, what do you guys think when like principals and assistant principals and people call you down and they're just like, adults love to get us in trouble. Just fires them up. It gets them so excited to get us into trouble. And I'm just like, to me, it's the exact opposite. I get how kids think that way. But my first thing is, I'm calling you in because I care about you. If I didn't care, I wouldn't care about your attendance, right? I care about you, so that's why we're talking, and that's why I want to get you to class. It's like that old saying, you don't need to worry when the coach is over-coaching you, you need to worry when they stop talking to you. So my goal is to not let any kids fall through the cracks and kind of be that first line of defense to really make sure reaching out to those kids that are struggling and seeing what I can do to help, and working with all the amazing other support providers that make this school tick and make it awesome. So thank you, everybody.
So one new role that we have at our school, and unfortunately she couldn't be here tonight, is Alyssa Sanders, who's going to serve as our MTSS coordinator, and that means multi-tier systems of support. And now I'm feeling a trend and very triggered because they know that I don't like dogs, and every single slide so far has had a dog, right? So I kind of feel like that's a little personal there, just a little bit. But we're happy to have Alyssa joining us. She's a teacher here. She was a teacher here, but she's moved into a new role because we're trying to become more systematic in our approach to supporting kids. And so her role is to help develop those interventions and make sure that we are tracking interventions so that students do well. Oh man. I'm gonna have to change the slideshow. This is a picture of young JC as a 9th grade student at St. Mary's College High School in Berkeley, California in 1989. I went to a very, very small private high school. We had 77 students in our senior class. Born and raised in Richmond, California. I still live there, but I put this up just to kind of remind me of what it's all about, right? Because it's all about our kids and the memories and the experiences that they have. And so this picture kind of reminds me of why I had a huge, like a huge boutonniere. Like that was too big. And I also, you can't see it, but everyone else in this picture has on black tuxedos, and I'm the only one in a white suit because I was always an independent thinker, right? And I always wanted to do my own thing and not go with what the group. And what's also missing is I have on nice socks, which I still try to do today. Go back. So 3 values that I really, really hold is, being student-centered, right? Because we're here in service of students and their experience. As much as we work with adults, we want students to have a positive educational experience. And if they're not, then we're not really doing our jobs well. So being student-centered is extremely important to me. Equity focus just means that we focus on all the kids that we have and their needs. So we aim to know their name, strength, story, and need. And through our systems of support, we then work to support what those needs are. And then servant leader, I've kind of mentioned and said it as I think about, like, I'm a doctor. Like, what the heck is that? Like, how did I become a doctor? Well, it was really about working on my identity. And to be a servant, I believe that you have to be a servant first before you can be a leader. And so I want to be of service to the people in building their capacity, right? Just like Tara kind of indicated. This is all about building people up and loving on them. And for me, love means helping people to be their best self, right? And so that's what we're trying to do with our students. We're trying to help them become the best version of themselves. All right, so just a little bit more. Yes, I'm married. We don't have kids, but that allows me to do what I do. There's no way that I would be able to do this if we had kids. So I like to think that I have like 1,600 kids. And we're good with it. You know, don't look at it and say, well, I'm here because I'm a parent and don't feel sorry for me. I feel sorry for you all. Because, you know, they show their best selves, and if they give me attitude, I get to send them home to you, right? And they're not going into my refrigerator, or they're not sitting with their dirty clothes on my white couch or messing up my floors. That is all for you, right? And so we are about as happy as we can be with our lives, and I think these pictures kind of demonstrate that we are, you know, I think we're glowing, right? And so I've been married for 11 years, as I mentioned, to my beautiful wife, Carmela, and she supports me in this work. She knows that it is more than a job. Being a high school principal is more than a job, right? It's more like a vocation, right? Or a ministry, because it's about helping people be their best selves. And it's also about changing belief systems, right? I want kids to believe in their potential. I want teachers to see the potential of the kids that sit in front of them, right? And so that's why this is still near and dear to my heart after all of these years in education. Whenever I'm having a bad day, I can just go sit in the class, I can strike up a conversation with kids, and everything is all right. All right, so what are we working on here at TAM this year? I think I mentioned during the 9th grade tour that first day that last year we had a visit from the Western Association of Schools and Colleges, and they are the people that validate your diploma from TAM. And we did something called a self-study. And we looked at a lot of data, we looked at a lot of information, and from that we developed some goals. And so these goals have a lot of edu-speak in them. So the 3 words that I think that are most important are a focus on achievement, racial consciousness, anti-racism, and intervention and support, right? And so that's the new positions that we have that were created to help support building our intervention systems. And what does that mean? When a student is struggling, we should have some supports in place. We should be able to unpack why they are struggling. Is it behavioral? Is it social, emotional? Is it academic? And then have strategic supports based on those issues. Racial consciousness, I mentioned it previously. I feel like you all have heard me say it already, but I'll say it again, that we're living in a bubble, or Marin County is a bubble, and we need to prepare students for life outside that bubble. And so having conversations about anti-racism is very important. Also, we want every student to feel included, and race is often a barrier to students feeling included. And so is gender and sexuality. Those things kind of work together to make students feel excluded from our campus. And so we want to be aware and focus on building an inclusive environment. And then achievement, academics, rigor, cognitive demand is important as well, right? So we want your students to be challenged in classes. We want them to be able to look at the world and critically analyze it, and perhaps problem solve, right? So project-based learning is about, solving real-world problems and applying what you learn in classes to real solutions. I'm sure I'm sitting in a room full of professionals. Hopefully you're out there solving problems in the world and not just sucking up oxygen. This is our staff. I'm always so happy that we're able to get together and take a picture in our t-shirts. And so this was from the first day of school. You can see we got a few rebels in the group who didn't follow instructions and wear the appropriate t-shirt, but that's okay. That's what Tam is kind of known for. Free thinkers and people that like to do things their own way. This is, I'm calling him out, that's Preston Pickens, if you know who that is, looking the wrong way. All right, but that's our staff. So, some of the things that we do to help prepare for the work that we want to do with students is professional development. And so on August 15th, we had our professional development day where we did a scavenger hunt. For those of you who've been at TAM a long time or have been around, it's the clean version of the scavenger hunt. And we worked on developing relationships. We went over our anti-racism policy. We had some conversations about trust, and teachers really went to prepare for getting ready for the first day of school. We've participated in a lot of equity workshops. We've done a lot of coaching. Ben Cleveland, who's the county teacher of the year, is our instructional coach. This year we have one learning management system, right? Which, again, if you've been here for a few years, you know that we used to have Google Classroom, and then people had their own websites. And so we really tried to streamline and get people on the same system so that you are able to follow and track students' assignments. We do a lot of advanced placement training for teachers that teach AP so that they are up to date with all the latest curriculum for AP tests that come later, hopefully, for most of you. One of the partnerships that we are very excited about is our partnership with Mills College. I think they're called Northeastern now, funded by the Tam Foundation, which allows us to look at student experience, as I mentioned, and really partner with students so that we can know how they are experiencing our curriculum in our classrooms so that teachers can be reflective about those experiences and revise their approach to engage students in learning. And then we have a fantastic new teacher training program where all the new teachers to our campus meet with a mentor teacher, and they receive professional development and support throughout the year. I didn't know I had put this many slides in there for myself. I usually don't talk this much, but I guess tonight I am. So a few years ago, we asked students about what they thought was important for our school, and they developed this social vision statement. And I'm really proud of it because it was really student driven and reflected what they thought was important for our school. And this is what they came up with. TAM is a very special place because we're a group of diverse individuals united by our shared experiences. So understanding that some kids come from West Marin, some kids come from Sausalito, Marin City, and then others come from MVMS. Coming here, we're all united by that shared experience. We are supportive and respectful of others despite and because of our differences. We help one another when someone is in need, regardless of our social group or status. We work together in different situations to ultimately better the school climate, and we demonstrate in all of our actions integrity, empathy, respect, and community. So this is our vision. This is what we are aiming for, right? It is aspirational because we do have our challenges, but in representation of our best selves, this is what we want to be. So our unity for TAM vision, for TAM unity, our actions and words create an inclusive environment in which all students are accepting of everyone. Okay, programmatic highlights. This doesn't capture all the programs that we have at TAM, but we do have a lot of them. Very, very proud in 2021, we were named a California Distinguished High School for the work that we are doing around equity. Our core program, which all of our students are in, is a collaboration between social science and English language arts. And I think the most beautiful part of the core program is the students roll with the same teacher into the next year. So they'll, really helps the teacher to get to know the students, for them to get to know one another, for there to be continuity and consistency in between those 2 years. CTE is huge. It took me a few years to learn that we were art school. And I look at all the drama classes that we have, most high schools that you go to, there's a fall production and a spring production, right? But here, there's a production almost every 6 weeks, 6 or 8 weeks. And it's something that we're really, really proud of. Students have a number of opportunities to participate in our drama program, our music program. We are returning to global studies after a few-year hiatus, where students will have an opportunity at some point, if COVID numbers stay low, to travel abroad. I think that's a very rich and rewarding experience. Our AIM program for 11th and 12th graders, journalism, producing the Tam News. Compass, which is our partnership with the College of Marin, several AP and honors classes, applied tech. I can kind of go on and on. I'm sure you all can read. But a couple that I am also proud of because they've happened in the last few years. Our AVID program, we have a section of AVID at all 4 grade levels. AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. And last year, we created our Social and Environmental Justice Academy. And so it's very, very similar to the core program, where there's a collaboration between our social science teachers and our English language arts teachers, and this happens in the 11th and 12th grade year. So a lot of our students now in the 9th grade, you can go back. This kind of gives them something to look forward to. I know a lot of our students, our 9th graders, aren't in these programs yet, but as they matriculate through our school, they will have an opportunity to participate in either some of these electives or some of these programs, just giving you something to look forward to over the course of the 4 years. I talked about performing arts. Spiro Singaris has a music program, a band, a choir, as you can see here. Our students. We have some students so that you can hear directly from them.
Thanks, Dr. Farr. My name is Bennett. I'm a junior here at TAM.
I'm Kylan. I'm a junior as well.
I'm Zayn. I'm also a junior.
Okay, so to be honest, we didn't get to see the slideshow really quick. We got a quick blurb of what we should talk about, so some of this is going to be ripped, some of this is going to be prepared. I think Kylan's going to start us off.
Yeah, so pretty much the TAM High Link Crew program is, so we're representing 90 people, all 11th and 12th graders. And pretty much our purpose is to make sure the 9th graders find their purpose at TAM. So there are 3 main purposes that we do. The first one is the orientation, where all the 9th graders came and they pretty much made friends. They did some activities and they found their way around the campus. And yeah.
Okay, I guess I'm talking about student life. All right, there's many different aspects here at TAM to student life. I feel like in a lot of places there's everybody has to play a sport or everybody has to be in a club. Here you get to choose. You can be in a club, you can be in some programs that are integrated into classrooms like CTE, chorus, band. You can do things like AIM, which me and my friend Zane are in. You can be a part of any of these clubs, sports teams, programs. There's pretty much something for everybody here. And if there's not, we have a beautiful club program where you can pretty much start a club after the most niche interest. One kid last year, who's actually our student president this year for juniors, started a Pokemon Go club. That's something that we have here. Yeah. I don't know. That's my. Oh, keep riffing? I can riff forever.
Alright, so yeah, I'm not really sure what to talk about, but I guess I'll just talk about some of our involvement, I guess, more within the 9th graders' lives. So besides orientation, which we did at the beginning of the year, we also meet up with our Linkies, we call them, 2 times a week during tutorial. I'm not sure if you guys know what that is. It's essentially like homeroom and then also time to do work as well and get help from other teachers. So for the first 30 minutes of tutorial, we will be doing this thing called advisory, which is essentially getting the information out and giving them news about things that are maybe coming up, such as like a school dance or anything really, any events that are coming up. And it just gives us an opportunity to really just get to know these kids and help them transition into a new school, which is obviously a lot bigger than MVMS or probably this whatever middle school they're coming from, right? It's intimidating, as we know. So we're really here just to help out. Unfortunately, we're not required to wear these shirts during the school day as we were for the first week, but I mean, me personally, I'm sure these guys as well, we know our Linkies fairly well. We know their names, we've talked to them. So whenever they see us walking around school, they can say hi. We can take them out to lunch or really whatever if they have any questions about anything. So we're just here to help out and make the transition as easy as possible. Yeah.
Adding on to that, we see them twice a week, but we also have programs or activities that we do with them outside the classroom. We run things like tie-dye events, school dances. Last year, or at least not last year, when I was a freshman, we had like Freshman Olympics, which is a bunch of competitions to get prizes for your whole tutorial class. Me and one other girl, we were the only people that did it, won our whole class bucket hats. Yeah, I still have it. I got a black one and gave the white one to my sister. But ultimately, we're here to make their transition easier, and I feel what we're here for is we're not their teachers or we're not like judges, execution, whatever. We're their mentors and friends here. We're really here to like help them ease into here. We're here to help them with either schoolwork or social things. Life is complicated. Most of us have gone through something at one time or another. We're here to help them work through that at pretty much any angle. And we hope that all the freshmen know that they can come up to us whenever they need to talk about whatever they want during tutorial or outside of tutorial, and yeah, to pretty much any link leader.
So that is it. Thank you.
Don't you all want to come and work at high school too? Like, you never know what you're gonna get, right? That's the beauty of it. So we have Jonathan Chan and Laura Erickson who are here for leadership.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. I'm Laura Erickson, and
I'm Jonathan Chan. I'm the other leadership teacher this year.
yeah, we're so lucky this year. We've got we're co-advisors, and that's because Tam Leadership is twice as big as it was last year, meaning we can have twice as many fun events and reach twice as many people. So just last week, our students made this mission statement up at the top. Oh, it was this week. It was Monday. So, and their purpose is to make TAM a more inclusive, spirited, and united place for everyone, centered around acceptance and camaraderie. We strive to create a clean, kind, and involved community in search of Tam unity, and I just thought that was really beautiful. Could you introduce some of our committees?
Absolutely. And so during our class time, we have them split up. And not we have them, really, they split up. Leadership are some of the most self-directed and some of the most honest students, as you would expect from leadership. And here are some of the committees that they've split themselves up into. So we have a design committee that has unified a couple of different committees, and the reason they're called that is they are designing posters. They are designing, oh, I'm wearing some right now, in fact, some of the merch that we have at this school. They are running the merch, they're taking inventory of that merchandise, they're selling that merchandise.
Learning small business skills.
All kinds of skills that are, I don't even know how to say it, amazing to learn at the high school level. We've got our rally committee who are putting together the rallies that all of our students get to go to pump them up, to bring them together, celebrating our Tam Hawks. We have Hawk Talk, who produce videos every other week, I think. Every week we're out there. We're coming up to it. Their own video production, going all around the campus, going all around the school, getting everyone involved so that everyone knows everything that's going on. And we have our Tam Unity committee, which is one of our biggest, because Tam Unity is one of our biggest priorities. Getting those Tam Unity days, which are days when the whole school turns out for amazing events, for food, for music, for together time, and tying in clubs. We had our great spokesperson about clubs. We are working with all those clubs to bring those together, to support clubs for everyone, to really put that out there.
We're extra excited about Tam Unity this year because we've got Tam Unity days where instead of just having food trucks, okay, a Tam Unity Day is on the baseball fields. We have an extended lunch, and this is Principal Farr's idea. Thank you so much for bringing it to us. We've got these 2 days where with this extended lunch, we have lawn games, we have live student bands performing, and historically we've had food trucks from local businesses come in, which is super, super fun, and it's really great to have like that guest lunch showing up. But this year we are trying to get our clubs more involved and more highlighted. So clubs will be actually selling local businesses food and getting a percentage of the income from it. So our clubs will be taking in more money, and that means our clubs will get to practice those small business accounting skills, which is like a life skill, being able to budget. Maybe that's something that they want to follow their passion with their club after their time in Tam. We also have Student Voice. Student Voice is a fairly new committee. That's where we're advocating for all students. These are students who read the student feedback forms twice a week. Students see the tutorial slides. Of course, at any time they can give us feedback, but they have an opportunity to give us their ideas for improvement or events. And Student Voice takes that feedback, and they actually take their 3.5 hours a week when they're in leadership and gather data on what the students at Tam want, so that they can take that information, bring it to admin, and maybe even bring it to the board to make real change at Tam that like lasts. Oh, and Student Voice is also responsible for like heritage months, planning heritage events, celebrating like Black History Month. We're coming up on Latinx and Hispanic Heritage Month next month. Like Women's History Month, Student Voice is responsible for coordinating with clubs to have those events. Spirit, super fun. Dances, Spirit Week lunch events. It's just opportunities for students to mix and mingle and have a good time together. And Outreach is our community initiative group where we do things like blood drives, voter registration drives. They're even planning a movie night in the next month or so. We have to secure some movie rights first, but a movie night to just get money to donate to a cause that I'm not entirely sure about, but they're gonna be donating money in the name of Tam and providing a really fun community event here at Tam.
So keep an eye out.
Yeah, keep an eye out. And on our school website, you can see those tutorial slides. If you go to the Tam High website, tutorial slides is where you're going to find our hawk talk and information about all our dances and our student voice and rallies and all that stuff will be on our tutorial slides if you want to see what your students see during tutorial, in addition to the bulletin. It's pretty jazzy. I'm pretty excited about it. Next slide, please.
Alright, so I'll take this one. So, some of our upcoming events, as we mentioned, we have a, did we mention? No, we just talked about our clubs. We didn't mention our club fair, which is one of the huge events that we're doing. We're unbelievably jazzed for it. All of those clubs are going to be turning out, are going to be presenting themselves to the school at large, are going to have some, something to put themselves out there. And so we are really interested in having our clubs be a big, active part of student life. Pokemon Go Club, we're having a poetry club this year we got to sign up for. We have SOAR, which is Students Against Racism. We have all kinds of amazing clubs celebrating all walks of life across Tam. Club fair is where they all get together and everyone gets to see them. That's right. We have 9th grade elections coming up, so freshmen will be electing their student body officials coming up, their president, their vice president, their treasurer, to handle their budget, to handle the fundraisers, to get the freshman class together. The other grades have already elected their officials. Your students, when they come here, will be electing their 9th grade officials. And we've got homecoming, which is going to be in the last week of September, all week long. We have events planned at lunch. We have events planned around campus. On the Friday of that week, we'll be having a big rally. Rally committee is working hard on that already. Getting everyone together, getting everyone pumped up for that. We have our game on October 1st, that is a Saturday, against R.G. Williams. And after that, we have our first homecoming dance, our first big dance this year. We're really excited. We can feel how excited the students are for that. It'll be right here. It'll be at 7 p.m. that day. Semi-fall.
So here's just a couple images from a club fair pre-COVID. You can just see how many students are like milling about. They're going up to the club tables where the clubs have little presentations and things to just kind of entice people to get involved, to find their cool roller skating pals or their like forensic fans. There's a forensic club coming down the pipeline, y'all. It's so cool. So Club Fair is going to be really cool, and that's the 14th of September months. Next slide, please. So if you've got a freshman out there who's got a funky passion, feel free to take a picture of this and be like, hey, you should start a club and find your people because they're out there. This is a big campus, but there's something and someone for everyone to get to know, and clubs are a really great way to do that. And this is just a small portion of the clubs that have already applied to be clubs. They're all approved, but we just need to know they exist. So as you can see, we've got book club, skate club, robotics, GSA, and also Taste the World. That's a cooking and eating club. So yeah, take a picture of that. Next slide, please. And I just wanted to shout out our amazing Tam Foundation. They have continually been providing grants to allow access to events for all, providing spirit packs and prom tickets to students who could not afford it otherwise. So Tam Foundation makes sure that there's equitable access to all campus events and everyone can be included. Last year they also foot the bill for our Black History Month event, sponsoring bringing in food from local Black-owned businesses, Black-owned restaurants. That was delicious and it was a smashing success. And this year, keep an eye on the grant proposals. We're going to be putting in a grant for anti-racist leader development for our students, along with the Link crew. We're trying to get everyone together with the amazing Dr. Law and learn about how we can identify our own biases and walk through the world with an anti-racist lens and interrupt racism when we see it as leaders on our campus. Also PTSA, Thank you so much. You support student celebration events, both financially and with help. We need bodies, all right, to come and see the students having fun, so they chaperone. They also offer club grants to our clubs so that the clubs can start off with a little seed money to have pizza at their first meeting to get people to come, or get supplies if they're like painting club or something, I don't know. But $200 to any club who applies for it, so they can get started on a good footing. And they also are providing snacks for club fair this time around, and they did last year too, and we just really appreciate you. So thank you to our foundations. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, Nathan Johnson is our athletic director, and he just kind of wanted to highlight some important dates for you all and your ninth graders. Fall sports have already started. We have our first football game tomorrow night, but volleyball, girls volleyball has already had a couple matches, and as you can see, cheerleading, they've been out there, they're ready. And so if your kid hasn't signed up, you need to go to register for athletes on the tamathletics.org website. If your kid can't get a physical, we can arrange for them to have a physical so that they can participate. Winter sports starts October 31st, and spring sports start February 6th. And so again, tamathletics.org has a lot of information, all the schedules, how to try it out, how to get a physical. All the information is available via website. All right. I know they're going to want to mix it up a little bit. Alex Hunt is one of our counselors, and she's here to talk about support.
Hello, everybody. Hi, I'm Alex. I'm one of the counselors here. We have 5 high school counselors at TAM. We are not academic counselors. Please do not call us that. We'll be very offended. So we call ourselves high school counselors because we address the whole student. We take a very holistic approach. I don't think I can address one part of your student's life without addressing their entire life. So they see us for pretty much everything. You want to change your schedule, you see us. You want to go to college, you see us a lot. If you're having problems with parents, teachers, friends, of course you would never. But if you do, you see us. So it's a very welcoming, opening environment. In counseling, we have an open door policy. And kids get to know us really well. We have 5 counselors, and our caseloads, it sounds like a lot. We have about 330 to 350 kids per counselor, but we're with them all 4 years. So we get to know them really well. You know, my freshmen are always kind of scared to come down. Like, oh, you have to have problems to see a counselor. Oh my gosh, no. And by the time you're a senior, you know, we're basically best friends, and I'm like, I love you, get out, go away. So they'll figure it out. It's really casual and fun. And there's just no way to escape your counselor in high school. It's not a possibility. Because even if you are the kid who just won't seek help, we will seek you. We will find you. So you don't have to worry about that. We're going to find them. Parents, you are in for an emotional roller coaster over the next 4 years. And sometimes it's going to be really fun and exciting. And other times you're going to be like, why did I have kids? And you just have to know that all of that is totally normal. It's totally normal, and you're totally on track, okay? You are the safe space at home. You're the place where they get to come home and not only just be themselves, but also stop kind of having all that high energy. So you're gonna get a lot of grunting. You're gonna get a lot of, don't talk to me, I'm shutting my door. That is okay. That's totally fine. It means you're doing a good job, okay? Because they need to be able to go home and be themselves and let loose, okay? Sometimes it's gonna be a little disrespectful, and then you can address that. But my point is that don't freak out if your kid all of a sudden becomes the devil. Okay? It's fine. And you're welcome to contact us, and we will be like, you're doing a good job, I promise you, okay? And we will help out as much as possible, for sure. But I just want you to know that it's ups and downs, and it's totally normal, because when they're here, they're on. It's so funny how parents are like, my kid is like so great to the teachers, they say so much great things about them, and then I don't see that at home. I'm like, yeah, of course you don't. because it takes so much energy to do that here. And they want to do well, they want everybody to like them. It takes a lot. So when they come home, they're exhausted. And you, because you love them unconditionally, are the person they're going to crap on. Cool? But don't worry, they still love you, I promise. So, in addition to the high school counselors at TAM, and you'll learn a lot about us throughout the years, we have a lot of other supports at TAM as well. So, we have our wellness program, and Yvonne Mellum over here will come up later and talk about our wellness program. She's our wellness coordinator. And by the way, we basically talk about it as counseling and wellness together. We work hand in hand, we are symbiotic in that regard. Because even though counselors do a ton of personal social counseling, at the same time, because of our caseloads, we can't do weekly therapy sessions, you know? So if a kid needs maybe a little bit more, we refer to wellness. We don't give them up, they're still ours. We're just getting some extra help, you know? And Yvonne will go into all the other services that wellness has, which is amazing, and we love them. In addition to wellness, we also have Link Crew, which you heard about. We have strategic peer mentoring. Now, freshman year is intimidating, so we have Link Crew kids to help them out. And then sometimes we have students who just needed a little extra support. Maybe they are coming from a smaller career school and don't know that many people here, or they could use some academic help, or maybe just some social skills. So we have a class taught by Abby Levine. It's called WISE Peer Mentoring, and it's juniors and seniors who are trained in listening skills, counseling skills, confidentiality, as well as mentoring skills. And they are hooked up with one freshman, and it's their little freshman buddy that they're with all year long. And they mentor them throughout the year, depending on whatever that student needs. And referrals come from parents, they come from counselors, they come from teachers. So we have that, which is lovely. And we have, well, we have a few different things that are changing up at TAM. But essentially, the main thing you have to know is that your student is going to feel safe and supported here. Okay, we're like a big warm hug. But also tough love at the same time. This is a growing up period in their lives, you know what I mean? So while yes, I love hearing from parents, I actually want to hear from the kids more. You want a schedule change? I want to hear from the student. You're having a problem with the parent or the teacher? I want to hear from the student. You can totally email me and tell me all about it, but I'm going to call the kid and talk to them, okay? Because they need to learn that this is their life and they're in the driver's seat. To a certain extent, you're still paying for it. Cool? Okay, next slide, please. So, counseling staff. I have no pretty photos, sorry about that, but you can follow us on Instagram at Tam School Counseling, and that's where you'll see pretty photos and also get a lot of different announcements about what's going on. I don't know if you already follow us, you would see a lot of scheduling stuff happening right now. I will say the main bummer about counseling in the beginning of the year is that yes, we're their safe person, but in the beginning when we're doing the scheduling, we have to tell them, sorry, no, you can't have that class, which is, you know, not a great way to start the year. But after that, we get into some really good stuff. Freshmen are going to have freshman presentations with us. They'll take them on tours. We'll, you know, do a little scavenger hunt. They'll get to know us really well and learn how to utilize all the resources on campus. So let's move on to the next slide, actually. Okay. Emmy Abe is our college and career specialist. She works in the College and Career Center. So like I said, personal, social, academic, college and career, high school counselors, we work in tandem with our college and career specialist as well, because a lot of people, there's a lot of anxiety about college and what to do after high school, right? And I need you guys all to just know that we got you. I promise you, we have you. There's nothing you need to stress about right now, especially because they're just getting into high school. I don't want you stressing about what happens later on. But for the most part, we have a very good program that takes place, goes all through 4 years, and ramps up as we go. We don't want to add stress in the very beginning, okay? We have different workshops. They, again, cannot escape it. We will find them. And it's all about what they want. There can be a lot of pressure in this community about what you should do. I need to go to a good school. Well, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Oh, I have to do this. I'm expected to do that. We want to change the narrative about what do they want, and then we will help them get there. So it's really about them exploring their interests, and not worrying about what looks good for college. We will make sure they look good. Even if they don't want to go, we're still going to make sure they look good. I need them to just figure out who they are, what they love, and then we will help, you know, build that story and get them where they want to go. Does that sound okay? Yeah. Okay, good. So Emmy is amazing, and she's here to help with that as well. You'll get lots of emails from her. It will feel like spam sometimes, and I'm sorry, but you should still read them, because especially when we get later on in the years, they will be highly relevant. You can also follow her on Instagram as well at Tam College and Career. Instagram is key, people. Get on it. All right, I think that's it for now. I might be back for Q&A later. Yes? All right, Yvonne Millam from Wellness.
Oh, you don't have to clap. I can tell you the energy, right? You've been here for a while. I think we all need to take a breath and stretch. They're going to do so much stretch. Thank you in the back, right? It's really important. I want you to listen. So I'm Yvonne Millam. I'm a wellness coordinator at TAM, and but I think I have the best job at TAM. Oh, I don't like it. Am I loud enough without the mic? Okay, because I don't like this. So I think I have the best job at TAM because I get to serve every single one of your kids. I love it so much. In addition, it's kind of weird for me. So this is my 4th year at TAM as the wellness coordinator. And the first one of these I did, I also had a freshman starting high school. We live in the city, she's not here. And now, second one I've done because of the pandemic, my second child is now a freshman starting high school. So I feel a bond with you all because I'm also a freshman parent. I wrote some things down, but first, JC, I didn't put my dog slides in, so these are my dogs. And I wanted to make sure that everyone saw I too have dogs. Wellness also has dogs. We have therapy dogs that come, and they haven't started yet this year. But they reduce stress for most people aside from Dr. Farr. So I make sure to let him know when they're coming, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays in front of school at lunch. And the students get care of the dogs, which is really helpful. So my background a tiny bit, I used to be a social studies teacher here at TAM before I became a therapist. And then kind of like fine-tuned and realized what I really loved was serving students in a mental health capacity. So I've been working in education for 20 years now. And after I was at TAM, became a therapist, worked in San Francisco Unified, opened a wellness center in the East Bay, and then they brought me back here. And this is home, and it's so good, and I love it so much, which is why I think I have the best job at TAM. This is Sophia, and Sophia's not here tonight, but if you were to come to the wellness center, so we actually have space, we have a wellness center. How many of you probably haven't been in? Yes, no? Okay. So you come down the hallway, and our buddies counseling are on the right there, and we do work really close together, and even our spaces are next to each other, which is really great because we're often bringing students back and forth. You come in, you walk down the hall, and you see this lovely open face sitting behind a desk, but you can still see her. And she's smiling, she says, welcome to the Wellness Center. The student comes in, she triages, figures out what the student needs. I made all these notes, but I'm all over the place now, so just stay with me. You figure out what the student needs. Maybe they just need a minute. Maybe they just need to sit down. She might walk them through some deep breathing. We have friendship bracelet making string. We have a beautiful space. And I will tie this all back. Much of this is due to the Tam Foundation, which is why we're calling them out right here. So the district pays for wellness to be open 4 days a week. We are open 5 days a week. The Tam Foundation pays for one of those days. Woo! So it's like huge, huge. Your student might need a break. We have students who come down, and like, I hope this isn't too much to share, but like a student came down and got her period. Didn't know that was going to happen, right? Wasn't prepared for that. We have extra clothes, we have feminine products, we have, right? Like the things that might make it really hard either to get to class or stay in class, we've got you. And part of that is because we are so amazingly funded that literally the kids want for nothing. So thank you, and that's you. So thank you for doing that. Okay. So I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I used to be a teacher. I have 2 teams. Okay, our team. So it's Sophia and myself, and my office is right next to the Wellness Center. I have this awesome, also thanks to the Tam Foundation, window from my office that looks into the wellness space. The students are like, is that one of those where you can like a 2-way mirror or 1-way mirror? I'm like, no, it's just a window. So if I'm picking my nose, embarrassingly, I don't do that, COVID stopped, you know. You can see me, I can see you. And it says Sophia and I can keep this place safe.
right? If she looks at me and I see that there's a lot of kids in there, maybe I'll go in and I'll say, hey, do you want to talk? What's going on? So it's awesome. And it's also so I get natural light in my office, which is pretty cool. We have 7 mental health providers who work with us. So they are my team. Most of the time, if your student is seeing someone in wellness, they're not seeing me because I am in charge of all of our programming. So I manage 7 mental health folks. We have, aside from myself, 1 other licensed person and then a slew of folks on their path to licensure. I don't know if any of you are mental health folks in here, but it is a long journey. And these people are very well trained even though they are not yet licensed. That being said, if you already have a private therapist, do not get rid of your therapist so that your child can come and get a free therapist in wellness, and I'll tell you why. We are only open when school is open. So we don't see kids during breaks, we don't see kids during summer. Come talk to me if you have questions about that. Okay. And therapy dogs. Okay, so other things the Tam Foundation funds, because it then just helps me go through all of this stuff. So 5 days a week. Our space, a couple years ago, I wrote a grant to have it painted because it was a color that wasn't very calming and welcoming, and now it is gorgeous and beautiful. We have a care cart, so right outside of the wellness space, you don't even have to go in, is a care cart with things that students might need. So like I said, so feminine products, hair ties, nail files, lotion. I'm trying to think of the other, things that in a day you just might need. We have them right there, and you just come by and students go, wait, so I can just take, I'm it's not Walgreens, so don't fill your pockets, but yeah, take what you need, absolutely. We also have mints, but you have to go in and say hi to Sophia to get a mint, because when we had those out, it was just free candy, and that was going really quickly. Okay, we also have fidgets, right? Even if your child doesn't have, even if you have a neurotypical kid who doesn't necessarily need a fidget to get through class, sometimes it's nice to just be able to give them something if they're having a hard day and maybe they're having a hard time getting around to class. Take this, just focus on this instead. It helps. It's silly. Sometimes we have these little things of slime. I'm sorry to the teachers, wherever you are. We have these little things of slime, and students love them. They take it and they're just playing with it, and so there it is. We also have weekly fruit delivered to the Wellness Center. So if your child, maybe they didn't eat breakfast and they had a hard morning, they come in and we just have a beautiful bowl of fruit that gets delivered every week, and students can come in and take what they want. They don't have to ask. It's really lovely. We also have tea and, according to kids, the coolest and most refreshing water on campus. So that's a quote. Please ask your students to bring reusable containers for their water. We're trying to not harm Mother Earth so much with all of the paper cups that we're throwing away. So bring in your reusable thing. And here's my secret. The reason why we have tea, water, all the things, partially is because students need them, but partially is because, let's say that you come and visit me, and you're I don't want to talk to anyone else. I'm fine, I don't need anything. But you're but I do want some water. And you come, and you get water every other day. And then something happens, and you're not okay. And you go, there should be nice in there, I'm willing to go. Whereas if you've never been, it might be scary to come to wellness, right? It's hard to talk about like that. It might be scary, so we use it to bring them in. We will be going into every freshman social issues classroom in the month of September and introducing all of our services. So every student will know what we offer, and then we finish with a tour. Same idea, if you've been somewhere before, it's easier to go when you're struggling. So, okay, next slide, because I can probably actually talk about what we do. I've talked about a lot of this. Okay, so we offer therapy appointments. We are a short-term therapy model, right? If your child is struggling with severe mental health struggles, Tam Wellness is probably not the place that they will end up eventually, right? Because like I said, we are closed during school holidays, 4 p.m. I tell all of my people, we don't communicate with students after, that's not what we do here during the school day. But every single student at Tam gets 8 to 12 sessions if they want with a therapist. Pretty great, right? Especially right now, it's really hard to get a therapist. I don't know if any of you have tried, but COVID made it kind of challenging. We have sexual health support. So we have a sexual health clinic that comes to TAM once every 3 weeks. It rotates between TAM, Archie, and Redwood, where students can receive free and confidential sexual health support. If you want more information about that, feel free to come and talk to me. Tea and water, fresh fruit, substance misuse support, right? So a lot of times we work with admin and someone gets caught, vaping on campus or vaping weed on campus. There's a suspension diversion program where they can come and meet with us, and we have an educational program that they can come to in order to avoid suspension and actually to learn about, right? So it's a non-disciplinary educational program. So I think that was really awesome. We also offer sort of ongoing substance use support with one of our counselors. And how I think we most support our community is parents call me to get resources. Like I said, fidget, support groups. We partner with the Farr Center, which is the LGBTQ+ center in Marin. And once a week, we have Q Group, which is super popular. In the past, when I first started here, we couldn't, for some reason, get it up and running. And we consistently had in our wellness space, like 15 to 17 kids every week in Q Group. So we're really happy about that space. All of our services are free, confidential, and voluntary. So voluntary is a big one. I get a lot of calls from parents who are really worried about their kiddo. I will always call your kid in to check in on them, always. I can't force them to see one of the providers, though. That is something that they have to agree to themselves. But I will always check in with them. Okay, and like everyone else said, follow us at tam.wellness. We put pictures, so we'll have pictures of every one of our providers. We'll let you know when therapy dogs are coming. We do a lot of stress less events right before finals week. We have a week full of events sort of to teach kids how to manage and regulate their stress. Did I leave anything out? Elaine, did I leave anything out? No, follow us on Instagram, email or call me with any questions, and I already answered that.
We're almost done, I promise you.
So Yvonne's therapy dogs growled at me, and that's why, how can it be a therapy dog and it causes me anxiety? What am I supposed to do with that, right? Yeah, they smell right. So even the smallest dog want to pump me, right? They know I'm afraid. I'm a big guy. It doesn't matter, little, big, whatever. So we're almost finished. Communication plan. These are some of the ways that we like to reach out to you and then hear from you in return. There's a daily bulletin on the website. Take advantage, read. You can find out what's happening at the school. There's PTSA Parent Coffee Mornings. The What's Up comes out every Sunday night. That'll tell you about PTSA meetings, and you'll be able to have conversations with me, hear directly about what's happening on campus, and also you'll be able to talk back to me as well. I send out a monthly Red Tail review. Read that, please. Parent view for grades. We're very highly visible. Yes, I haven't seen anyone pull out their phone to add us on Instagram, even though we have a huge social media presence. I try to respond to emails within 24 hours, but everyone else, 48, maybe 72, not on nights and weekends. PTSA, the newsletter, and the Tam Foundation website. So I try to be open and transparent about things that are happening on campus and provide updates as often as possible. So kind of to recap, how do you thrive at TAM? I think get involved. There are so many opportunities for students, and high school is something that you get out of it what you put into it. And so I would encourage your students to join a club, a sport, a program, find their people, right? That is how you thrive. Second thing I'll say is don't compare yourselves, right? Don't let your kids compare themselves. Don't you compare your kids to other kids. Let them be, let them find who they are. Let them grow and develop as human beings, right? You cannot clear the path for your kids. And I see a lot of parents try to mow everything out of the way. We call them, it's no longer a helicopter, right? Now it's like a snowplow where you like clear everything in their path. Allow them to experience some challenges while they are with you. Allow them to experience some things while they are guided and under your care. Don't try to solve every problem for them, because then they will be dependent upon you to fix their problems, right? You want them to grow and develop the ability to address things. Now, you're going to be providing some oversight, and we get it, but you're allowing them to grow and develop and figure some things out on their own. I think that is extremely important. Yes, I've been here 7 years, 49 dog years, and I can see, every 11th grade year, they should be able to talk for themselves, right? We should see less and less of you. And you're, like Alice said, you're gonna still be paying for it, and you're gonna catch the attitude, but they're going to develop their own voice, their critical thinking skills, their ability to navigate the world, because when they go to college, they're not gonna wanna talk to you, right? They're just gonna want the money. It's just the truth. I mean, it's the truth, right? Like, I know it's gonna be a hard thing for people to accept, but that's like the reality of it. So you want them to be prepared to talk to a professor, to talk to a dean of education, to talk to someone in the student center, to be able to advocate for themselves. And they can't do that if you are doing it for them, right? And so we want to work with you. We want to be able to support you. We want to see them grow. And we want your volunteerism, and Tam Foundation will appreciate your donation. We're here to answer questions. We're gonna let you go because you've been sitting here all night, right? And a lot of you, your facial expressions haven't changed since, and I've been up here trying to tell my best jokes and make you smile, and some of you still have that same look like, I didn't make dinner, I'm here, he's trying to tell jokes, and I'm ready to go home. But we'll stay around and answer questions for a little while if you want to. Otherwise, jcfarr@tam district is how you can reach me. Everyone here is happy to answer questions. We just want to love on your kids, support them, and see them grow. Thank you.
No, that's like it. Like, it's like